from BTN Studios, the Biblical Truth Network presents The Edge, a prison ministry podcast from Less Than the Least Ministries.
Hi, I'm Bill.
And I'm Stephanie.
And you're on The Edge. Hey, what a good show we got today, right, honey?
I'm excited.
You've been waiting for this one for a while.
I have. I've been wanting to talk to her because I have no idea what this program's about, except that I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, great things about it from people who have come out of prison and are doing well.
Yes.
And when we were going into Plain State frequently, we heard about it while we were there, and it's all we've always been curious about. Mm-hmm. And you guys are probably curious right now, what in the world are they talking about? Well, we're going to keep you in suspense a little bit longer on our cliffhanger. You got to hang around to see what it's all about. That's why we call this The Edge, because we got you on the edge.
Yep.
But before we get to our guest today, what do you say we do a little business that we haven't done in a while?
Sounds good to me.
Now, I want to do some shout outs, and I'm going to do these a little differently. I want to say shout out to Christopher Dillard. He's at Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Christopher, thank you so much for writing us. We hope that you were able to get the Bible that we sent.
Yes.
We want you to know that God loves you, and so do we. Amen.
Amen.
And then we want to say hello to Kevin Armstrong at Graceville, Florida, at the Graceville Correctional Facility. Well, again, thank you so much for writing us. We're glad that you're enjoying Fred Klett. And we're really hoping that Netflix will pick up that documentary that they filmed. They're done with the filming and editing now, and they're starting to shop it around, and we're just praying that it gets picked up. Would you join us in prayers for Fred and Derek Klett that special gets picked up?
Yeah.
Love them guys. And also want to give a shout out to James Burton. Jimbo, our trumpet player. Want you to know that we did send a parole support letter for you, and we've gotten back a notification that it has been put in your file. So God bless you, brother. We hope you get out soon.
Yeah.
And then Irene, and I hope I'm not massacring your last name, Navahar at Plain State. We ordered a Bible for you. Hopefully by now you have received it, and maybe you can come join us on the 29th at the Behind the Razor Wire tour there on Chaplain Rebick's last day. We hope to see you there March 29, 2025. And want to do a shout out to David Bethel. He's at the Goree unit. He really loved our Valentine's special.
So did I.
Aw.
It was special for me too.
It was. And it was special for me too, to be able to talk about how much I love you and how we met. And it's part of our story, isn't it? And then one last shout out I want to do, and that is to John Middleton. Wait. No, this is Bobby Granville at the John Middleton unit. He's at the John Middleton unit. I'm doing a shout out to the whole unit.
Why not?
John Middleton unit, we're doing a shout out to you. We hope to hear from more of you. But Bobby, you wrote to us and you didn't tell us where you're falling out of. And brother, we can't send money in. We are Texas volunteers, and volunteers are not allowed to send money.
Right.
But we will try and help you when you get out, but we don't know where you're going to, so let us know. To hear back from you. And with that, I think we have something special here that we want to do.
Oh my gosh.
What? that we want to do for our friend Robin.
Yeah, at Plain State.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, Robin, we were in the car rolling. Like, my tears were running down my eyes. I could barely get this whole thing out. So I appreciate that you sent what you sent, and we're going to share it with everybody.
We are. We did the You Ain't From Around Here Is You segment a while back, and there it is again. You Ain't From Around Here Is You. And in that segment, we did a little Texas Northerner detection test. We had
a Yankee.
Yeah. We had Stephanie run through the thing, and Robin sent us not only a correction but some other pages for the test. I had ILB, and she says it's LIB. So and she added another line in there. Stephanie, now that you are a true Texan, why don't you go ahead and read that for Robin so she can see that you are now.
I am now a true Texan. It says MR ducks. MR not ducks. OSMR. CM wings. LIB. MR ducks.
Excellent. That's great. That is so perfect.
It is.
It is. And then she sent us this one is another way of doing this.
MR puppies.
MR not puppies.
Oh, OSMR. CMPN.
LIB. MR puppies. See, we can do a duel that way.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now we'll do the next one that way.
MR snakes.
MR not snake.
OSMR. CMEDBDIs.
LIB. MR snakes. Yes.
I was dying.
Yeah. Okay, and then one last one.
MR farmers.
MR not farmers.
OSMR. CM empty pockets.
LIB. MR farmers.
So I have officially passed the test, and I am a true Texan.
You are, and boy, honey, I got to tell you, you got it going on.
I've come a long way.
You have.
Yeah, in such a short time.
Yeah, such a short time.
Thank you, Robin, for helping me.
Yeah, thank you so much for helping both of us, and I hope you all enjoyed those. Maybe you guys have some of those as well. Hey, I want to do one more shout out, and I hope I can get this on here. This is from Rocky DeLeon. He sent us this card. There we go. God bless you. And then on the inside, it's kind of a pop-up.
So beautiful.
It says Stephanie and Bill. And yeah, it really is. We love this card. Mm-hmm. And we're going to work on getting all of this artwork that we're getting hung up on the wall. And honey, I think do you have the bear over there?
I do not. It's right there. And I think that card.
Okay, well, we'll find it. We got another one that's a bear pop-up that we're going to share with you on one of the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, and we're going to start putting them right on the cross.
Yeah.
Because I'm just, not only is it encouraging for us when we get that from you guys, but I'm always just amazed at the MacGyver tactics y'all got to use to create a piece of artwork like that.
It is crazy.
And I can't do it with all the tools I have out here to do it with. So I'm seriously impressed.
Yeah, we both are. And we really appreciate the thoughts and the love.
Yes.
And boy, it's coming right back at you.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, what do you say we...
let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Yeah. Our guest today, you're going to get to meet her. Mm-hmm. Her name is Paige Lovett, and she is from the EWOP program.
Yep.
Empowering Women Out of Prison. And so...
Do they?
Boy, oh boy, golly bob howdy. So let me tell you a little bit about Paige, and then we'll bring her in. How's that?
Sounds good.
Well, we are very excited today to have Paige Lovett from EWOP, the Empowering Women Out of Prison program. Now, she came to EWOP with a lot of years of social work experience from direct care to case management and extensive training in trauma-informed care. One of the things I really like about this lady, honey, is her mission is all about championing individuals exactly where they are currently in life.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. Ever since the day that Erica told us that about the EWOP program and what it had done for her, that would be Erica, used to be Moses. And I have wanted to get her on, Miss Lovett, on this show.
Yeah, so we are excited to have her. She is as you can see there, she's a Reentry Program Supervisor, but she's going to tell us all about the program and all that. And so with that all done, Paige, welcome to The Edge.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we are excited to have you. And I know that our viewers are excited. They've been looking forward to this. If our mailbag is any indication.
Sure.
So we are really anxious to hear all about EWOP. And now we heard a little bit about how you became involved with EWOP. You came there with case management experience and all that, and trauma-informed care. Tell us a little bit about how you found out about EWOP and how you came to them and what drew you to EWOP and that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, this is actually this is a God story. I feel like it is part of my...
I love those.
I know. So to not spend the whole time talking about myself, I'm going to try and wrap this up kind of quickly. But I started going to a church called Community Bible Church, which is in San Antonio. And they have organizations that they partner with called their global partners. And one of those people or organizations is Empowering Women Out of Prison. And I have a lot of background as you introduced me with, but there was a point in my life where I had 2 kids under 2. I needed to step out of social work to take care of myself, be present for my family. And so I was working for Orange Theory for about 1.5 years.
Okay. The exercise group.
Say that again?
They're the workout group, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Gym.
Yep. Yep. So I love the fitness industry. And so it just had a little bit less emotional weight to it. I could really focus on my family. And, but about 1.5 years in, I just kind of was feeling like, my heart's always been in social work. I love, championing people and meeting them in hard spaces and being the hope that maybe they don't have for themselves. I can hold for them and help them through those dark times. And so I just felt like, I want to get back into that space, and I love my church. And so if my church partners with people, then I can trust that. And so I started kind of looking through some of the global partners, came across Empowering Women Out of Prison. And what's funny is I clicked on it, and then the first thing I saw was that it was a program for entrepreneurs. And I was like, yeah, that's not me. So I can volunteer and help, but there's no way I'd work for them. Like, I have nothing to provide. And so there's an initiative that CBC, Community Bible Church, does every summer called Love SA. And for 1.5 weeks, they have hundreds of volunteer opportunities. And so for a couple of years prior to this, I have prison ministry on my heart. And I don't know why. I've never been incarcerated. I don't have anyone in my family, no close friends. I don't have this personal attachment to incarceration because of something I've personally experienced or been affected by. It just has been so deep in my heart. I just feel like God's just had my heart positioned that way. I never knew what it looked like, though. It's actually not super easy to get into prison, unless you get sent there. But to have the choice to go in.
And that's pretty easy for some of us.
Is challenge. Well, yes. Some of us just gotten really lucky. And so when it was time to sign up for things, the first tab I picked was prison ministry. There was an opportunity to serve and volunteer with Empowering Women Out of Prison. So I went, and during the event, we had some time to just kind of fellowship and hang out with some of the current participants in the class. And one of them, we were just talking about her life before prison and what my life was looking like. I told her a little bit about that, season of life I was in and wanting to get back into social work. And she said, well, what does that look like? And so, well, if I could wave my magic wand, I'd combine the two of my heart is postured towards prison ministry. I want to get back into social work. So maybe case management in that type of environment. And she said, well, Pam's hiring a case manager. And so she said, I think you need to talk to Pam. And so I talked to Pam and went through an interview process, and here I am.
That's awesome.
So,
it's a God thing.
It really is.
Absolutely.
And for those of you that are watching on YouTube or Spotify, any of our free world connections, I'm just going to put up real quick. There's the EWOP website. It's ewoptx.org. And you're welcome to go there. They've got a lot of information there, and I'm sure you will make good use of it.
Yeah. And, I think I've said in several programs that if you had asked me 10 years ago or 5 years ago if I was going to be in prison ministry, I would have laughed in your face. But for you to have that, and it's just ingrained in you already, that is a God thing for sure.
It sure is. It's a calling.
Yeah, absolutely.
People don't seek out going to prison.
No, not usually.
In any fashion.
No.
And so that
we're just special, all of us.
And how long ago was that? How long have you been then since you got hired at EWOP as a case?
Yeah, so that actually happened in August, and I came on board the very beginning of September.
Of last year?
Yes.
2024. Okay. All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people might wonder is, why EWOP? What do we need EWOP for? And I want to put up another slide, show the next slide. This is from your website, why the need. I am really shocked. It was a surprise to me to see the statistics on the incarceration rates for women that are being incarcerated in Texas. We've got another slide we'll show later where, overall it's up 131% since 1991, the rate of incarceration for women, and it's outpacing even men now. And that's just a surprise. And you've got that says currently 89 of the EWOP participants are mothers.
Yeah, so about 90% are mothers or maybe grandmothers that were fulfilling a motherly role to their grandchildren.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. You hear all the time about the absentee fathers and men being incarcerated, the impact that has on the family.
Yeah.
You don't hear about absentee mothers and women being locked up.
You don't. And I think that would be one of the most common prayers that we get requested when we come out of a prison, a women's prison, is that for their kids, that they would get that be reunited with their children and their families. And they're just heartbroken to be separated from their children.
Yeah. And trusting, others to care for their children while they're gone. Very challenging.
Yeah, that has to be a huge challenge. And I don't know that very many mothers that can really do that can just hand their children over
that would be
to somebody else, say, here, you take it, because I'm going to prison. I mean,
that's got to be so hard.
That's got to be terribly difficult.
I think too, the element of not only processing what they've experienced themselves, but I think when you have children and that relationship is so close, you're also processing the effects that it's had on them as well. So there's a lot of grief and I think shame that, in addition to someone who maybe doesn't have children, that they are processing because of those kids and the relationship with them.
They feel guilty too. I would imagine.
So now, one of the things that I want to talk about that it really is one of the things that I just love about this program. We're a prison ministry, and we minister to people who are in prison with church services and crusades and Bibles and discipleship classes and that kind of thing. There are programs for people when they get out that are reentry programs and that are geared towards being maybe faith-based transition homes and that kind of thing. Your program is really about preparing them for reentry, right? And that is something that's just huge because, there are too many people that think, well, once I get out, all my problems will be solved. Well, not if you're not ready for it, they won't.
Right.
And so tell us a little bit about what EWOP is all about. What kinds of things that you do when women come to that program? What are they signing up for?
Yeah. So our goal truly is transformation from the inside out. I love that you mentioned, there's a lot of, sometimes there can be this checkbox thought of okay, if I just make sure I have this in line and this in line and this in line, then when I get out, things will be okay. And what we know is that there has to be a true transformation on the inside for you to have the the steadfastness to get out and face your challenges, believe that you are worthy of a new future, to own your story shamelessly, and rewrite your story, or your future. And so that really it starts with the very simple but not easy transformation from the inside out. So the way that EWOP is laid out is it starts with Leadership Academy for the first few months. And that's really where we focus on head and heart, creating a personal purpose, talking about strengths, how unique they are, really learning to own their story and prepare to feel worthy of creating this future. And then we step into the rest of the year is the business semester, where we partner with the Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship, which is out of the University of Houston. We're so blessed to have a partnership with them. They've been ranked the #1 entrepreneurship program in the nation for, I think this is year 6. and they help build out some of the curriculum for that business semester along with the education coordinator we have inside. And
what program is that again?
Say that again.
What program is that again? Who is that? Wolf?
The Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship at the University of Houston.
I'm going to dig up their website and we'll put it up here.
Yeah, it's really cool. They're very involved. So like I said, they have a large part of their curriculum, and it's not like, oh, this is what we're doing at the university, you guys can just like hop along. They know that we are part of their program, and they cater to that. They meet with our education coordinator and figure out what's going to work best for our women on the inside, as well as coming into our events. And what's really unique is these women are creating 7-minute Shark Tank style business pitches. Like if you've seen the show Shark Tank, that's what they're doing. Full business plan with no internet. And so what's very challenging is getting the research for their business proposals and plans. And so what some of the students at the Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship do, we call it WCE just to shorten it up. The women will write their questions. We get it to their business plan advisor, their BPA, and they do the research and then send that research back to them to us, that we distribute back to them for them to be able to get research, which is big.
That's time consuming. Now, I want to back up just a little bit.
Sure.
To the leadership academy, because that's not cookie cutter.
No.
Right? Because you named off a number of things, and every one of those is different for everybody, and so I can't imagine the challenge of trying to take someone who's never thought about having a purpose to try to figure out what that is, and you've got a time limit.
Yeah.
Yes. A couple of things that we do, within the first week, they have to write their own obituary. And really evaluate what legacy they want to leave and what they want people to say about them. It's hard. It's very challenging. They have to write 100 dreams. And I know many of people, including myself, that would be a struggle. I myself don't know that I could sit down and write 100 dreams that I have for myself, but that's an exercise that they practice. We do some assessments, like the Berkman assessments, so they can really learn about themselves and who they are as a leader and their strengths. So we incorporate some things like that to help them start to really work through some of that. Because like you said, it's not cookie cutter, but we can provide them tools to where they can learn more about themselves.
That's amazing.
That really is.
Yeah.
I want to
go.
Of course, I might find out I'm in the wrong spot. I don't know. There's a lovely there.
It is a privilege to be able to be part of the organization and alongside these women, because to see their transformation is amazing. It makes me want to cry every time I go inside, because there's at least one person who, no matter what we're doing that day, it feels like God was so intentional with it's exactly what they needed. And like you can see life-changing things happening every single day, like all over the classroom.
Well, I can see the results of it in the one woman that I know.
Well, yeah. Well, while you're talking about that, I want to go all the way over here to the graduation scene. And that's one of the graduate, and you can just see not only smiles, but I see a lot of relief.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, getting out of prison can be scary.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you don't know. And these people look like they are relieved because now they have some idea about what it's going to be about. And there's Erica in the back right-hand corner back there, our friend Erica. And we love her to pieces.
We do.
Okay. So, go ahead, man.
Now, I might be jumping the gun here a little bit, but I was wondering how many institutions that you guys are in right now.
Yes. So currently we are only in the Gregory S. Coleman unit, which is located in Lockhart, Texas, previously known as the Lockhart Correctional Facility. That is where we are now. There have it's always been part of our strategic planning conversations for growth and expanding to other units. But something that you actually just said, which is a big part of it, is what we do is not cookie cutter. And so we continue to have conversations on how do we duplicate what we do, but we keep it's not cookie cutter. It has to be, we have to replicate it, but in a way that's very unique and individualized for the women that we're serving. And that can look very different depending on where we replicate at. So it's
Not only
definitely
where
part
you
of
replicate at,
conversations.
but who you replicate at with.
Yes.
Because everybody can't be everywhere, right? Yeah.
You need several different teams.
Yeah. And everybody's going to bring their own style to it, right?
Yes. Well, and one thing we haven't touched on just yet is the other half of what we do is reentry.
And we want to get to that.
And yes. So
There's so much to talk about.
yes, there's a lot.
So let's talk about the reentry side. But we've talked about the program. How long is the EWOP program? In other words, are they there for a year, 2 years, 18 months? What is it?
Yeah, so it's we say 9 to 12 because we have prison time, you know? You never know with lockdowns and stuff like that. It can shift the timeline. About 9 months, though. It starts at the beginning of the year, typically 1st of February. And then graduation happens mid to late November.
And then people who are interested in it, how do they contact their chaplain, or how do they get signed up to go?
Yeah, so we try to keep in good contact with chaplains at all the units and make sure they have applications on file. And so the best first step would be to get in contact with their chaplain at their unit and get an application. If for some reason they don't have any or they've run out, we'd love to know so we can get them more. And they can also send they can drop an I-60 to the Coleman unit, and we can always get them an application directly.
Okay, and just
I'd love to see this program like all over the state, all over the country.
I would like
that's
where I was just headed is, just for everybody on Pando watching this, this is a Texas program right now.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're not in Texas, I'm sorry, but some of the tools they're talking about, some of the institutions they're talking about, maybe you've got volunteers there that would like to start something like this, and they can contact EWOP and talk about how they would branch this into your state, because this is something that's needed everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, as big as the incarceration problem is, it's not just a Texas issue.
And not just EWOP, EMOP.
Yeah, right. Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the way that EWOP started is actually from a men's program. So there is a men's program called PEP, Prison Entrepreneurship Program. And it's also in Texas. So they have, they're in Dallas and Houston, and they have been, I think this year is their 20th year as an organization. And they decided in 2017 to pilot a program that was shifted a little bit more for women. And so they did a pilot program at the Lockhart unit. And then it was decided in 2019 to fully separate and create a new 501c3 for empowering women out of prison. So we've definitely had to shift things quite a bit because what works for men doesn't, quite work for women. And so, but that's how EWOP started, was actually from a men's program. So if there are men listening that are interested, PEP, like I said, it is a Texas organization, but that would be a good thing for them to look into is PEP.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Now let's talk about the thing that is your specialty, and that's reentry. Because as I tell so many people who ask me, why on earth would you be interested in doing prison ministry? They put themselves there. They deserve to be there. They should just stay there. Why do you do this? And I like to tell them, even if you strip away all the Christian reasons, there is a humanitarian reason that people who go to prison don't stay there.
Yeah. And
you have to ask yourself, what kind of people do we want to be coming back out into our community? Right. I'd much rather have somebody who is grounded and healthy and ready to contribute, rather than someone who's just going to keep going back to prison and committing more crimes, right? And so that's the reentry side of the EWOP program, is where you work. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yes. Well, when it comes to, kind of general like curriculum, I go into the unit every Thursday and I either facilitate having a guest speaker come in or I teach myself. But every Thursday is something related to reentry, which, geez Louise, that's a laundry list of possibilities from financial literacy just to character development, relapse prevention plans, lots of different mental health topics, coping skills, that kind of stuff. But we do that every Thursday. But a huge part of it too is just really building relationships with the women and walking alongside of them, because if, even if they go through our program and graduate, we still follow them until they're released. So if they're still incarcerated at the Coleman unit, then we bring them in as servant leaders for the next class, or they can help with events. They stay connected. We have alumni committees that help to continue to build our organization on the inside. If they go to another unit, I stay in contact with them, make sure that we're still planning and having a good steps for once we get out. And then once they get out, they have a case manager assigned to them. That first 90 days is what we consider, maybe someone who's familiar with case management would be called like wraparound services, where we're really making sure all the elements of reentry are accomplished within those first 90 days. And then we stay with them for the first year. Now, after the first year, we don't say like, okay, see you never. We keep, we stay in contact with them.
Good luck.
Yes, but it's more of just like, updates on life. If something does happen, we're here to, as support. We have a retreat we're actually doing next month for all of our alumni. So lots of ways to stay engaged with the community. But I think the biggest piece of the reentry is truly meeting people where they're at, learning them, knowing, the hard things and what they want for themselves. So when it does get hard on the outside, you're able to remind them of like, well, this is where we're going and it's hard right now, but I'm here. These people are here for you. You have X, Y, and Z. Like, we're going to get through this. And really just walking alongside them.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
You develop that friend. You can't help but to develop a friendship when you work so closely with people. And anyway, so
and really learn about the hardest times in their life.
Absolutely.
And let's face it, reentry is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's fraught with all kinds of challenges, from housing to jobs to transportation. And I mean, if you come to a place like Houston or Dallas, some of the bigger, Austin, they've got some things that will help and mass transit. But go out there to Podunk, Texas, and it's going to be difficult, right?
It's really hard. Yeah. Well, and that's part of the conversations that we have, is if someone's really set on going to a really small town, well, we're going to have some conversations around like, let's talk about what this is going to actually look like for you. So we have, a final reentry plan that has a lot of elements to reentry that we review that's housing. Let's talk about what safe housing actually is and supportive people in your house and your home. What does transportation look like? Because it might be really easy to say, my sister is going to drive me, but does she really know what that means when you have doctor's appointments and parole visits and interviews and grocery trips?
And if sister has a job and she'll
right. And so let's come up with some backups, because in the area that you're wanting to go, there's no public transportation. So really, if they don't have transportation, but they live in the country, well, then it's also not realistic to find somewhere in walking distance to find a job. So really having hard conversations, and let's make something that's going to be realistic and get you to the goals that you want for yourself.
Right.
Helping them think of things they didn't think of. Things you never knew you never knew, right?
Yep. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah.
And you kind of have the element of some of the things that we talk about a lot, which are you can't wait till you get out to start planning and changing and making these things happen. And then you need to have some kind of program that you're going to once you get out that will help you with all these services and all that. So, yeah, you kind of are, I'm in love.
And do you have kind of a network of a variety of other programs that you work with and recommend for people when they get out for where to go?
So what's really unique about what we do is, there's programs, great reentry program in Houston. Travis County has a really great reentry program. Lots of really cool things happening in San Antonio, those major cities that we were talking about. Well, our women go all over Texas. So I think our biggest challenges for case management is truly becoming like reentry specialist for Texas, and not just a county or a city. And so spending a lot of time, building partnerships with people so that when we do have people released to certain areas, we can say, okay, first thing you need to do is you need to go do an intake with Travis County because there's some resources that they have in that area that would be great for you. Or we know you're going to Houston, so let's get you connected with the reentry program in Houston so that you can get get the ball rolling pretty quickly. They've got a great program over there.
Yeah.
Also, depending on, some people are going to transitional houses that we actually vet. We don't just say, go wherever you want. We have particular housing partners that we know have very successful programs for our women. And so if they're going there, that reentry process might look a little different because they have a lot of support at the house that they're going to. So it's very individualized. And that's kind of part of the planning, is to know ahead of time someone's plan and then be able to do the work before they get out to say, okay, now that you're out, here's what we're doing for this challenge, this barrier, and you identified this as an opportunity for yourself, and so here's kind of the steps we're going to take for that.
That's been one of our big problems, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, I would think I would love to have some access to that reference list. We get asked so often, can you help me with the reentry? I don't know where I'm going to go. I have this happening, and people are so anxious, and I don't blame them. And I don't have a vetted list of places.
We don't
and
feel comfortable recommending places we know nothing about, right? We could be sending you into the frying pan. We don't know. So we're kind of stuck and trying to figure out how to get our arms around that piece of it.
Yeah. Are you referencing housing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Programs. Yeah.
Housing and where are you going to live?
Yeah.
And then there's a class of individuals that makes it even more difficult if they're a sex offender. Then the housing is even more limited. And just if you have health issues and have certain medications that you need to take, that rules you out from some of the housing. And so there are so many individual things that about you that will dictate where you can and can't go.
Yes.
And then you've got all the things, one house, it might have been okay last year, but they've got a new manager now, or it got sold to somebody else, and they've had a group of people move in that are doing drugs, and we haven't vetted it in a year. And, so, I mean, it's an ongoing problem.
Yes, it is very challenging. I mean, and then you have to also think about the individual and the support that they need in regards to like the management of the house. Is it peer led and more independent, but it's a good fit for that person because they're ready for that independence and they're self-driven and will go out and take care of what they need to take care of? Or do they need to go somewhere where they have a little bit more support and people guiding them because maybe they've spent almost their entire life incarcerated and they truly don't know what it looks like to live a different life. And so they need a really strong support system around them. So I think everything that you mentioned are all the things that we take into consideration. And if you saw the diagrams and spreadsheets that we have for housing, it's absolutely insane because, we do have to have options and considerations for all the people, different charges, different needs, different areas of Texas. So it's a lot, but we have a great team of people that are constantly, weekly, we're calling places, vetting them, and finding good quality places for our women to go.
That's amazing.
It really is. Well, you've got a huge job.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It must be so rewarding though.
It is, especially when we are proud to say that we're in year 5 and we have a 0% recidivism.
Wow.
Yes. So
that is
we know it
amazing.
won't always be that way. Some, life happens. But we've made it this far with 0%. And so we know what we're doing and really meeting people where they're at, and we're transforming lives. And so, yeah.
Yeah. And now, how many women do you have on your caseload right now?
Oh, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's see. I have about 25 women that are within their 90 days.
Oh, wow.
I have about 60 outside of that are within their first year. And then we have about another 170, I'd say, that are outside of that 1 year. Some still very active. Some have just kind of like moved on with life. We may not keep in contact a ton, but that's kind of what the numbers are on the outside right now. And that doesn't include the 140 that are still incarcerated.
Wow. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's only one, and which is crazy, I guess, now that I'm saying it out loud, to think like that's a lot of women, and like we're only in one unit in Texas.
Yeah. And how many female units are there in Texas? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I feel like I could count the map.
There's like 3 or something like that.
There's more.
State that are run by this the PDCJ, but then there's the
2, 3, 4. I think about 8.
About 8. And
if I had to guess, I'm probably wrong, but somewhere right around
there. You could be everywhere.
Right.
But they need to find more of you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the only reentry specialist at EWOP?
So I'm the Reentry Program Supervisor, so I oversee the case managers. And so I'm not the only person doing reentry, no.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I was about to want to ask you the next question. How many Red Bulls a day do you drink?
I do love caffeine.
Yeah, I'll bet you do.
Well, I just am so, like, my heart is so happy with this. I just want to give you a hug. I really wish I could get through the screen and give you a hug. I love what y'all do.
So does Brody.
You could give me a real hug in real life if you ever want to join us for any of our events. So we have in-person in-prison events. We have one coming up in April, another in May, and then a couple in the fall. They all have different purposes because they kind of follow through the year and into the business competitions. So they're all online. You can register for them there. So if you're ever in the area and want to come by and see what we're doing in real life, we'd love to have you.
That would be awesome.
She would really love to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear about this now. Thanks a lot.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
Well, Paige, what did we not think of to ask you that's something that really you wanted to hit? Well, we must have done a good job.
I feel like we got to talk about a lot. I feel like the one thing I just want to say is anyone, we are just in Texas. We're at the Coleman unit, and we get a lot, like over 1,000 applications a year, and we have 90 women in the class. And so it's very hard to get into the program. Now, I don't want that to discourage anyone. I want everyone to fill out the application that feels like EWOP would be a good fit for them. But just to all the people who maybe aren't in Texas, I think I just want to encourage the person who's been very focused on the checkbox of, let me make sure I have a house, let me make sure I have, this money or this place, is to really, that's great and that's important. I think one of the most important things is having safe housing. So I'm not discouraging that. I just also want to encourage, make sure that you are leaning into, if you have a relationship with God, you're leaning into that and really letting Him transform you and your heart, because that's what has to change to really change your future. It's not just a new roof or a new job that's going to really change your future. You got to get your head and your heart connected. So,
new heart. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, described it this way to someone who asked me about cognitive intervention, because I'm really big into CBT. But they ask me how important that is to recovery, and I say, I put it in mathematical terms, it's necessary but not sufficient. You've got to have faith in a relationship with Jesus Christ, from my perspective, to really have that transformation of your spirit, of your soul, and to have the place to go draw strength from when those challenges come, because you know what? They're going to come.
They will.
Yes.
And to the men and women who we've talked to who say, well, I'm never going back to prison, I always say, so are you telling me it was your plan to go there this time? So if it wasn't your plan this time, could you come back with it not being your plan?
Yeah.
So you can't just say, I'm not going back. You got to have a plan. What is your plan? And that's what you guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I think finding that worthiness, and again, because of my beliefs, I feel like God changes our heart and makes us, he teaches us and makes it known that we are worthy, no matter what we've been through. And I think when I look at all of the women that I am in communication with daily, and the ones that are doing amazing are the ones that even on their hardest days, they remember that they're worthy and they're going to be okay. And they're going to make it to another day, and they stay focused, and they're doing more in 90 days than I've done in a whole year. I am serious. Like getting out of prison and 30 days later starting a business. Incredible things. So
yeah,
that is. And if nobody's told you that yet today, you are a priceless child of the one true God.
that's right.
And don't ever forget it. He
Yeah.
loves you incredibly, and he's there for you, and he wants you. And if you don't have that relationship with Jesus Christ, this is your chance,
Yeah.
to start that relationship. You can, if you're watching this on Pando, you can tap on that accept Christ button, and that'll take you to Jake Bodine. He'll lead you through a prayer, and you can say that prayer and then mark, I've accepted Jesus Christ. And we'd love to hear about that.
Yeah.
If you made that decision today. It is an important first step in any plan to reentry. Amen.
Amen.
Paige Lovett, thank you so much. We are so grateful for your program and for you and all that you do. And we just pray that God's favor go before you, that his peace be upon you, and his light continue to shine through you and all that you do. You are a treasure for the incarcerated women in Texas.
Yes.
it's an honor to be able to do this work and a pleasure to be on here to share about it. And thank you guys for the opportunity and what you're doing. To spread the love of Jesus to everybody inside.
This won't be our last interview together because we're probably going to want to see what's going on with y'all in about a year or so.
Yeah, as you've
Yes.
expanded,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and I told Bill I'd love to, get, I know Erica was able to share some of her life and a little bit of EWOP, and also maybe hearing from a graduate and hearing it from their mouth of, what the program really did for them and what life is like on the outside now. I think that would be really impactful for some people.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up with you. We'll have you on with someone who is recent. Maybe what we could do is kind of a follow the reentry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of your next graduates, and get some footage of them going through graduation, and then when they get out, what it's like when they first get out, and just kind of follow them a little bit and do a little case,
Do a little
study.
documentary.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, for that. All right, sounds good.
I like it.
Just what I needed, another project. Well, Paige Lovett, thank you very much. We appreciate you, and golly, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you out there. We think this is a knockout program, and if you're not in Texas, we'd love to hear what you're going to do about it.
Yeah. Challenge.
Get with your chaplains, get with your bosses. Say, hey, we need something like this here.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. And with that, I don't know, you got anything else on it?
No, not today.
Okay. Well, Paige Lovett, thank you very much. We appreciate you being right here on The Edge.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, how awesome was that?
Incredible. I knew such a small amount about it, but 100% success rate, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, zero recidivism.
Zero recidivism. That's just, to me, I believe that this program should be in every single female unit across the country. So that's what I'm going to be praying for, that it somehow is picked up nationally and can be, duplicated and tweaked for each unit in each area. I think that it's a blessing to all who are able to be a part of it.
Yeah, you talk about your root causes, and so many people have no. How do you live life?
Right.
And it's gotten so complex and so difficult, and then when you have that extra hurdle of having been in prison, it seems insurmountable, and that despair leads people right back to where they were. And as great and awesome as this program is, they just can't save everybody.
Yeah.
They've got a capacity of what did she say, 90 or something?
Yeah.
And they've got 1,000 applicants.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
We need some volunteers
Seriously
to step up and help with this. There's some of you therapists out there that need to get involved in doing some more community service. We're going to ask you to get in touch with them. We'll put their information back up on the screen again here, but it's EWOPTX.org. EWOPTX.org. And you can contact them at info@EWOPTX.org. And we hope that you will. We hope that as of today, they start getting inundated with requests to help and participate in this program, because it needs to grow and expand, because the problem is growing and expanding.
And honestly, I'm going to give a little testimony. I've been to therapist after therapist after therapist that always wanted to work on all the little outside problems, the results of my inner, my brokenness. They never focused on the root causes. Yeah. So the fact that they're going there, it's so important. And I think that's probably a huge reason for their success.
I gotta be.
Yeah.
So Paige Lovett, EWOP, you all keep doing what you're doing.
Amen.
And everybody else, please get on board. And if you're not in Texas, for real, find a way to get programs like EWOP and PEP into your state.
Yep.
Because you need them.
Yep.
They work, and you can't argue with success.
You can't. That's for sure. And it's better for everybody when a returning citizen is successful.
Yeah. Yeah. Who wants people living on the streets?
Yeah.
Nobody. So then you got to do something about it.
Yeah.
And the way you do something about it is by helping them learn and find a way to live a fruitful life.
That's right. Complaining doesn't help.
It sure doesn't. Well, we hope that you enjoyed today's episode and that you'll do like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Wow, I am too texting that mic. That
about how to speak of the language.
Wow. Oh, it goes quickly. It goes so quickly. So anyway, we hope you'll do a like, share, and subscribe, just like it says on the screen there on YouTube and our other free world platforms. You can do the Marcus Watched there on the Pando platform. And we hope that you'll tell more people about our podcast.
And if you're not subscribed, subscribe
today. All right. With that, I think we're done, honey.
I think so.
Okay, then we will see you next time right here on
The Edge.
Bye.
Hi, thanks for joining us today on The Edge, a Less Than the Least Ministries podcast.
We'll see you next time right here on The Edge.